I'm Kathy Johnson of Pyramid of Potential. This is video 28 out of 60 in the Harnessing Learning Potential video series. Today we're talking about listening devices. Now, if you Google listening devices, you aren't going to find anything because I kind of made up that term. But they are things like this that is used to help people say, listen. And this particular one is called a phonics phone, and sometimes it's a generic term, phonics phone. So you might say, well, what is that for? And so this is to help, like, similar way but different as listening therapies. When you speak, you will put this up to your ear and you'd speak directly into here. The reason why I'm not speaking right into there right now is because when we speak, most of our voice goes out like this and very little of it comes back to our ears. And if I were to speak at this volume into here, it would be very, very loud in my ear and could hurt my ear, so I'm not going to do that. So what we can use this for is to hear exactly how we are speaking. A really good thing you can use one of these for is for helping people with lisps, for example. Because a lot of people, when they have a lisp, they actually don't hear the lisp. They think that they are saying words correctly when actually they're saying them incorrectly, but they don't process them correctly. So this helps them be able to process and hear exactly what it is that they're saying. There are others like it. There are whisper phones and tubaloos, and they kind of tell you a little bit about how you have to use that, like whisper into it or speak very, very quietly. And so this one's a little different than the whisper phone or the tubaloo because there is a joint here so that you can actually turn it like this and you can do buddy speaking. So I have a friend, Carol Brown. She owns Equipping Minds in Kentucky. And she told me about this one student who had a real problem with his auditory processing. And every time she gave instructions, it took him like 3 tries before he finally could hear or process the instructions. And she had been to one of my talks, had one of these. She goes, oh, let me try something. And she grabbed it, she turned it, and she spoke into his right ear. Remember, the right ear to the left hemisphere. And he heard it immediately and clearly. And so it really helped him to be able to process information, auditory information. There was a boy I worked with, and his mom had me go into school to talk to his team about his brain. He was really bright and he was not successful in school, and they needed to understand what was going on. One of the questions came from his reading teacher, and she said that when he read out loud, he could remember what he read. But when he read silently, he couldn't. He was an auditory learner, okay? So I brought in a whole bunch of these phones and just gave them to the class so that anytime any student wanted to, they could do their reading out loud with the phone and then be able to understand and remember what they were reading. It doesn't work for everybody, just those people who are very strong auditorily. So what's really cool is you can have an entire class reading out loud using these phones, and they won't hear each other because they have to whisper, and the auditory, all of the sound is going into that phone and being funneled into their ear. And so it doesn't hurt anybody else when people are actually using these. You could even raise test scores by having this simple little thing be put on an IEP for especially any testing situations, and so that the student can remember what he reads. The last thing is you can make your own. They're very inexpensive. I mean, This one's only $2.50. The most expensive one is a hands-free headset whisper phone for like $15. But you can make one for less than $1. Just Google, I guess, phonics phone, make your own. And up comes pictures and directions, and you buy pieces of PVC piping from your local hardware store, and you can make it very easily, very quickly, and very inexpensively.